Hey guys, this is one of many movie reviews I'm going to be doing throughout the remaining summer. Some films are pretty much films that already came out in theaters and now on DVD. Some films that a lot of people have asked my own opinion on. And I'm going to be talking about these films, doing each video that comes out pretty much every Wednesday, no later than Thursday, to give you my own honest opinion of the movie that I've seen, but never got a chance to talk about it until now. One of the movies that I wanted to talk about so badly, even made a video of it at that point, was Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, I'm just gonna go out there and say it. I really did enjoy this movie. The acting I thought was very well done. I thought everybody played their part right. They pretty much kept to what the characters that you expect from the original series, while at the same time giving their own spin to these characters. And I really did enjoy. I really did like the fact that gave Scotty more to do and was more of a main factor of the storyline. I also liked the relationship of the two actors who play Spock and Kirk. I thought they guys have gelled together. But of course, you wanted to know my feeling on, of course, Chumblbash. My feeling is this, and you're gonna be a little bit surprised. I enjoyed his presence on the screen. I hated how they used his character. And pretty much, this is not really much of a spoiler because this film has been out for quite some time, and those who have seen it pretty much know this is Khan. And I didn't mind the fact that he was playing an iconic villain because A, before this movie was even put on film, there was leaks that Khan may be the next villain. Dr. Marcus may be in this film. So a lot of leaks on IMDb had happened. So it pretty much solidifies that yeah, Khan is gonna play a part in this film, or the guy who played Kirk's friend in To Boldly Go, the second pilot episode of Star Trek. So one or the other was pretty much going to make their presence felt. And to no surprise, the more I saw Chumblebass in the trailer, said the more I said, okay, this has a Khan element. This has the Wrath of Khan written all over it. Especially when you saw the ending trailer, and how you saw Kirk and Spock looking at each other in the glass. I said, yeah, this is the Wrath of Khan all over again. Um, Thankfully, it was enough to still be his original film. But and I actually enjoyed Cumberbatch's presence in this movie. I thought the stuff he did right, he did right. He was a vicious guy in this movie, but I felt that he was taking a backseat to the other threat in this movie, and that is Admiral Marcus, Dr. Marcus's father, who has his own agenda, which raised the question of Star Trek's Star Trek's rules, morals, and the ethic code that they go by, especially with the Prime Directive, especially when following protocols. How far is those protocols are when somebody has his own interest in mind? And this is what Marcus was pretty much doing. I might as well just address the title first because a lot of people were not happy with the title. A lot of people didn't know what the title means. This is my own opinion of this. When I first saw the title Star Trek Into Darkness, I said something about this film, whether people realize it or not, represents that title, that subtitle. And it was. It was actually a reason why they actually named it. To me, it's not Star Trek Into Darkness. It's Star Trek Into Parts Unknown because for the very first time, you're seeing Captain Kirk going into a situation blind and unaware of what the true facts are. And I say blind for a lot of reasons. One, he's given orders by Admiral Marcus to take down Khan at all costs. To do this, he has to go to Klingon territory. He has to go there, fire a missile, and leave. And that's pretty much his marching orders, to kill Khan. He doesn't know about the other stuff that's going on, and how Khan himself was used by the Admiral. He doesn't know about his people being hidden inside a nuclear missile that was supposed to devastate Khan, along with any evidence of him actually working with Starfleet, secretly masked, but still working in Starfleet. And at the same time, they're not aware that they are being set up to fail. So yeah, when they say Into Darkness, it makes sense because they're going into a situation blind, completely blind. It wasn't until as the film goes on, that you start to realize there's other stuff going on that even Captain Kirk, to his acknowledgement, was not aware of. And to me, that says a lot. To me, it says a whole lot about why they chose that title. And here's the thing. I don't mind the situation, the subplot that's going on to it. I don't mind the action, which would seem to be one situation after another. But when I was going into this movie, I wanted to see the main villain, and instead of getting Khan, John Chalabad's villain, to be the dominant force in this film, I ended up seeing RoboCop. And again, not to take anything away from the actor, he did a great job. There's definitely a hidden motive. There's definitely something he wants to do, but in order for that to happen, he has to make a sacrifice, and he was willing to take a lot of people's lives to do that. And it was actually, it really did bring the question to what Starfleet really all about for the very first time, especially when dealing with the enemy. And many people always debate whether they should have made the right move in presenting that, but to me, I actually was happy about it. That's not my problem. The last 15 minutes of this movie was the disappointing of the movie, because the fight scene between Khan and Spock were very disappointing. I was not into that fight scene whatsoever in this film. I mean, it was doing a whole lot of jumping around, it was doing a whole lot of fisticuffs, but I really wasn't engaged in this. I really felt that they really dropped the ball showing this character, and that was where I said, yeah, they didn't do a good job finishing the film. They really didn't do a good job. They was doing just fine, but once that 15 minutes was up, and don't even get me started on the situation where they actually ruined a pretty good reversal between Kirk's death scene. Yeah, he died in this film, but not for long. You know he was going to come back. But that scene with him and Spock, I thought the two actors did a great job. Did you really have to have Spock say the iconic Khan yell? It didn't even sound right. It was like, oh, you ruined it. I mean, come on. I can live with quotes from other films. I can live with quotes from TV shows. Hell, I can even live with the fact that everybody said they was ripping off Star Trek Nemesis when they was jumping from one space to another one. At least that one was more practical. The other one was just plain ridiculous. But I'll get to that in the flashback review at a later date. But that was the one thing I said, now you're overdoing it. Now you're playing too much fan service to something you really didn't need to do. And once it was just basically Khan was back to the main focus, I felt it was a little bit too late, because again, I really wanted to see Khan. I really want to see how they portrayed this actor, even if his name wasn't Khan and they kept his other name. It would have been fine, because I thought John Cumberbatch was very, very good. But once they put that, the Admiral, conspiracy, corruption thing on the plate, once they started making him the true villain, and I consider him the true villain more so than Khan is, even though Khan is still a badass, the whole focus got jumbled up a little bit. It really did, in my opinion. And once they finally got back to Khan, it was like, well, this is going to be meaningless, because they know they'll kill him off. We already been established that his blood can regenerate people's health. We know that's going to be a key factor in Kirk coming back. There's really no major climax. The film's going to end exactly what I thought it was going to end. And guess what? It ended exactly what I going to end. Did like the fact they recycled Space to Final Frontier. These are the voyage of the Starship Enterprise, their ongoing mission, or 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and civilization, the bold to go where no man had gone before. I actually liked it. I actually liked Chris Pine saying it as Captain Kirk. I actually liked it how they pretty much resolved that now they're officially on their 5-year mission, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do from then out. But if you want my opinion, the most disappointing is that last 15 minutes. That is the last 15 minutes. And that's pretty much the only thing that kept me from giving it that 4-star rating, because, man, I was really into this film. I was deep into this film. I was happy. I was pumped up. That last 15 minutes was like, oh, damn it. But, you know what? That's a small token. If you guys can get through the 15 minutes, I still say this is a blast. This is a fun film to watch. I really truly enjoyed this film, and in my opinion, I think it broke this so-called, odds and even curse that Star Trek seemed to have a reputation for. Because a lot of people said that the odd films, the film with the odd numbers, always seem to be the bad films, while the ones with the even numbers seem to be the good films. And I'm always saying I'm not too sure about that because Star Trek 3 was a good film in my opinion, and I honestly thought that I honestly thought Star Trek 6 was boring. And I didn't think Star Trek Nemesis was that great either. So I'm keeping it real. I didn't. I know a lot of people like this Star Trek 6. I didn't. I thought it was just a boring film that had too much politics in it. But I'll get to that another time. But me, I think if anything, this definitely solidifies that this is a different Star Trek film altogether. And there are some things I actually like. I actually like that once and for all, you know that you're looking at a totally different franchise. That this is pretty much a continuation and a reboot of the franchise because, as you know, Pike is dead. Pike wasn't dead in the TV series, so they basically said we're not following that. We're following it our own way. The actors pretty much cemented themselves as the characters that we loved when we watched the original series. Only now they're bringing their own little spin, and they're doing a hell of a good job. I really enjoyed the cast they have put together to make this film possible, and I'm looking forward to seeing them again in the third installment of their Star Trek adventure. And every time when you got me pumped up to watch another film, you're doing something right. You're doing something very right, and they have done it with the Star Trek, aka Star Trek: The Voyage Begins, and they did it right with this one. So to me, that's a positive plus on there. J.J. Abrams, I will say this now. This is a praise and a feedback. I thought he again he did a good job with this film. He will be missed when he starts doing the Star Wars project. But I also felt this is one of his weakest efforts yet, and this is largely because he didn't need to play too much fan service to the fans. Sometimes playing too much fan service is not a good thing for the movies. This one was contained, with the exception of that last scene, and I felt that if he's going to do the new Star Trek trilogy, he might want to stay clear of trying to please everyone. Not all fans of the Star Wars franchise is going to like his work, but there's going to be also people who will. And I think that you just got to go with your own style, and people will accept it for what it is. And you're also going to have those guys that probably won't. But to me, when you play too much fan service to a film, that's not always a good thing. So as for the music, second time around this score I've heard, I'm used to it now. So I didn't quite like this score when it first came, when Star Trek had it the first time with this franchise. But now that I'm hearing it, now that I actually can see it, I learned to accept it. I made my peace with it. Is it one of my favorite scores? No. Jerry Goldsmith, to me, that is the Star Trek theme, at least for the movies version. I know that that was not his original score when he did the original 1960s TV show, but to me, Jerry Coleman's always did the best job with turning the Star Trek theme. He was actually nominated for an award for it. So that's just my take on that. Overall, I'm sorry, this film gets 3.5 stars. Like I said, this film would have gotten 4 if it wasn't for that last 15 minutes. That last 15 minutes was a big disappointment for me. But other than that, the whole film as a whole, very entertaining, very fun. I'm glad I watched it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the stuff that I have watched. The acting, story-wise, was still solid. The pacing was good. Yeah, the lens flare is a little bit annoying, but you know what? That's his style. That's fine, as long as it's not distracting, and it wasn't distracting. So again, bring on the third installment. I know there's already hints out there saying what it's going to be, but but let me see how long it takes them, and I'm pretty much going to be looking forward in the Star Trek forums and seeing what everybody else is talking about. But that's my feeling on that film. That's my feeling on Star Trek Into Darkness, or in my opinion, Star Trek Parts Unknown. Did you guys like the movie? Did you guys thought it was good? Were you disappointed at some of the stuff? Were you happy with the way J.J. Abrams directed it? Let me know in the comment section. Until then, it's J77 saying take care, be safe, and more to come.